In this video, we're going to take a look at the OpenRoads command to import Ascii points from a text file. So I'm going to use some geotechnical data to demonstrate this. So what I've done is I've created a geotechnical base map, a BI001 file, and I've referenced in my alignment. So I'm going to start by importing my points, and then we're going to demonstrate the process to get a station and offset report for those points. So from the OpenRoads modeling workflow on the Geometry tab, we're going to use the import-export, the import horizontal points from Ascii file command. So it's asking me to select the horizontal alignment for station offset method or reset if station offset method is not needed. In this case, my Ascii file contains northing, easting, and elevation information, so I'm going to go ahead and reset. And now it's asking me to browse for the file that I'm going to use to process. So I'm going to go up the path here and go into the Geotechnical Engineering Data folder and change my filter to all file types. And I have a CSV file that has my information. So here's the import dialog, and it does use a text import wizard to define the format. And if you've not previously run this, you'll see a default XML file. Now in my case, my Ascii file that I'm bringing in, or my CSV file, does not have feature definitions assigned. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a feature definition. And if you don't have feature definitions assigned, it's going to apply this feature to every point in the file. So I've got geotechnical points. So if I go to the geotechnical category, these are the soil boring project points. And it does have a default name, but I do have names in my CSV file, so it will not use that. It will use the name from the CSV file. So now I need to configure this to tell it the file format. And there's a couple different ways I could do that. In the commands, I can create a new text import settings file, or I can edit the currently selected file. I'm going to create a new file, and it's showing me the content of the file that I selected. And the first line is a header, so I just have the point ID, elevation, northing, and easting. I don't want to process that header road, so I'm going to tell it to start from line 2. And then I'm going to go next and define each of my columns. So I need to tell it the delimiter is a comma, and now you'll see it's separated those out as separate columns. And I'll tell it from the list the contents of each of these. So I've got the point name, and I've got the elevation, northing, and easting. You can see the other options that are available there. There's station offset, description, and feature definition. So that's the different fields that you could have in your file. So once I've defined those, I'm finished actually. I'm not going to apply any filters. So I'm going to go ahead and hit finish. And it's asking me to save that text import wizard file. So I'm going to save this under my Geotechnical Engineering Data folder. And that's just useful if I were going to reprocess some other files that were in the same format. I could go ahead and use this same text import wizard settings. I can change the name of that there if I need to do that. So I'll go ahead and save that. And now I'm ready to import. So I'll just click import, and it's reading my data and bringing that into my file. So I can see it's brought in some points. If I zoom in on those and select one of those, I'll see its properties over here. If I look at feature, I can see the feature definition that was applied and then the name of each of these particular points that came from that Ascii file. So that's the process to import the data. Now in this particular example, the user also wanted to know how to generate station and offset reports for that data. So there's a command that we can use to do that. So on the OpenRoads modeling workflow in the Home tab, under the reports icon, there's a point feature station offset elevation report. Now this report is going to allow me to choose individual points relative to an alignment, or I can use a selection set. So I'm going to demonstrate both. So I'll start by picking the command, and it asks me to locate my baseline element. So I'll just go ahead and pick my center line. And now it's asking me to pick my elements. So I'm just going to randomly pick a few of these points. And these don't have to be geometry points. They could be survey points. They could actually even just be microstation graphics, just microstation elements. So when I'm done picking the points, I'll right-click or reset, and it's going to open the report browser for me. And in the report browser, this does default to a specific default report that has the point description, station offset elevation, and the feature. and then there's the name of the alignment that was used for the station and offsets. So there's a few different formats that I can select from the browser. Here's one with just station, offset, northing, and easting. So that takes out the description and it does not include the elevation. And then here's one with station, offset, northing, easting, elevation, and the feature name. So that's just picking some points. If I want to select all those points, I need to be careful what I'm selecting. So I'm going to, use my selection tool. There's probably several different ways we could do this. I'm just going to go down to that geotechnical group, and this is the proposed, get down to GT. I believe this is the instrumented soil boring, or is this the project? It's the project soil boring. So that's going to select all those points. And now when I go ahead and generate my report, picking my alignment, data point to accept the selected elements, and it's going to have all those points that were selected in the report. So at this point, if I want to save the report, I'm going to pick the report format that I want to use, and I'm going to change the output format. So under Tools, Format Options, I'm going to change my northing easting elevation to 2 decimal places. And I'm going to change my stations also to 2 decimal places and use a plus sign in my format. So when I close this, the format is applied to the report. And if I want to save that under File, I have Save As and some different options for saving that report. So that's the process to import points from a CSV file and then to generate station and offset reports for those points.